Hello Lighthouse, written and illustrated by Sophie Blackall. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea, guiding the ships on their way. From dusk to dawn the lighthouse beams. Hello, 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 hello lighthouse. The new keeper arrives to replace the old, to carry on tending the light. He polishes the lens and refills the oil and trims the burned end of the wick. Throughout the night, he winds the clockwork that keeps the lamp in motion. During the day, he gives the round rooms a fresh coat of sea green paint. He writes in the logbook and threads his needle and listens to the gathering wind. The wind takes a deep breath and blows and blows. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper boils water and drinks his tea as he fishes for cod from the window. He sets the table and hums a tune and wishes for someone to talk to. Every few days he writes her a letter and throws it into the waves. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and waits for her reply. The sky grows dark and the waves rise and crash. Hello! 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 The keeper looks through his telescope. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans. And his wife. He shows her around the round rooms of their house. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and sets the table for two. The fog makes everything disappear. A bell must be rung to warn the ships. Clang, clang, clang. One thick night, disaster strikes. A boat is wrecked on the rocks. Not a moment to lose, the keeper rows out. He pulls 3 sailors from the deep, black sea. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and wraps the sailors in blankets. The sea turns into a carpet of ice. Hello, hello, hello. One dawn, the keeper begins to sneeze. By dusk, he is terribly ill. His wife is everywhere, all at once, running up and down spiral stairs. She tends the light and feeds him broth and chips ice off the lantern room windows. She sits by his side and writes in the logbook the minute his fever breaks. Key textual concepts. The narrative structure integrates characters throughout to reflect the development of the story. The theme is carried throughout using symbolism, inference, and imagery, allowing readers to connect emotionally with the text. Hello Lighthouse has a traditional narrative structure. The orientation situates readers in a remote lighthouse at the edge of the world. The complication and series of events unfolds through isolation, the danger of sailors hitting rocks, changing seasons, and the birth of the keeper's child. The resolution occurs when they automate the lighthouse, replacing the keeper, symbolizing both continuity and change. The characterization is strong throughout the book. We see the lighthouse keeper's growth as his wife and child enter his life. Initially, in the orientation, he embodies dedication and resilience through his meticulous routines, tending the light and recording notes. When his family arrives in a series of events, the tone softens. His world fills with companionship and purpose. Through this structure, students notice how human relationships bring warmth to even the loneliest spaces over time. It's important to understand how character changes align with story structure, helping students identify the function of each stage of the narrative. The theme of Hello Lighthouse is expressed through symbolism, imagery, connotation, and tone. Continuity, change, family, and love are deeply embedded in both the illustrations and the writing. Symbolism is central to conveying the theme of family and endurance. Sea and sailing related symbols are symbolic of the theme of love, family, continuity, and change. The sea is changing and constantly moving. This is symbolic of the metaphor, family as an anchor, which is portrayed throughout Hello Lighthouse. The lighthouse becomes a metaphor for stability in the face of change and a beacon of safety for sailors, and protects those who live in it too. The circular interior of the lighthouse represents warmth and protection like a bubble of love. The circles also reiterate the repetitious and never-ending nature of the lighthouse and the keeper's job. The imagery enhances the symbolism, painting vivid scenes that appeal to the senses. Circular imagery reinforces the theme, the cycle of the tides, the rotation of the lamp, and the turning of seasons symbolizes life moving forward, also reflecting the lighthouse keeper's routine and soft curves and peaks mirrored in the illustrations of the ocean. The tone is calm yet powerful, shaped by repetition and detailed imagery. This combination reinforces the themes using expressions like "at the edge of the world," which conveys mystery and vulnerability. The characterization of the lighthouse keeper develops throughout the narrative. At first, his isolation dominates his actions and emotions, shown through his routine and the tone of the text. When his wife joins him, the color palette brightens and the rhythm changes to suggest warmth and joy, and the illustrations mirror that on their emotions. These small shifts in adjectives and verbs transform the reader's perception of him, showing growth and emotional depth. This demonstrates to students that effective characterization doesn't rely on telling, it's shown through habits, reactions, and relationships, encouraging inference. The setting plays a vital role in this narrative. The lighthouse stands on the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world. This description alone establishes tone, remote, exposed, and potentially inspiring. The shifting weather, calm, fog, and storms evokes emotion and helps create mood. Through the setting, Sophie Blackall conveys not only place but feeling. Students are able to see how descriptive language builds atmosphere and meaning, rather than just being a place. Sophie Blackall's illustrations construct meaning alongside the text, enhancing the story's emotional depth. Circular imagery dominates each page, the circle framing the family, almost creating a bubble of love. From rotating lamps to curved waves and round windows, symbolizing cycles of life, routine, and change, continuing the theme throughout. The red and yellow flags are the most salient feature against the cool green and blues of the sea, creating tension and contrast. These colours attract the viewer's eyes with the cool tone and dim lighting and suggest warning. The ropes create vectors guiding the viewer's gaze, and low modality work together to focus attention on the emotive responses of the readers and the characters. The keeper being illuminated draws attention to his actions and his emotions. This creates tension. Repetition serves both rhythm and meaning in Hello Lighthouse. Phrases like "hello" and "the keeper tends the light and writes in the logbook" reoccur throughout, mirroring the predictability of the keeper's life. The greetings "hello" and "goodbye" frame the story, symbolizing continuity, and the repetition of "hello" personifies the lighthouse, giving it a voice and a presence. This language activity encourages students to think about literary devices they can use to make their own writing engaging and expressive. Students will revisit creative writing and characterization as preparation for their narrative assessment. They'll explore Tier 2 vocabulary and develop character concept maps, focusing on the 5 senses, followed by writing a short descriptive paragraph introducing their character. The teacher will model the process and support students through shared and guided writing before independent practice. Students will plan, create, and edit an imaginative text inspired by Hello Lighthouse. They will experiment with sensory description, third-person narration, and narrative structure. Each story must include a lighthouse, a family, exploring themes of love, change, and resilience. Fluency and oral expression are integral components of literacy. The teacher will first model an expressive reading of Hello Lighthouse, helping students understand how tone and pace shape meaning. In peer reading activities, they'll use checklists to provide feedback on expression, phrasing, and accuracy from reading their story to a partner. Students will then revise their stories and practice reading them aloud with appropriate pace, tone, and fluency. The purpose of this task is to develop their confidence, learn about expression and tone, and how it can be missed when read incorrectly. To extend the creative writing task, challenge students to experiment with a non-linear narrative structure or to add complexity through deeper characterization and subplots. They can also experiment with writing from a different perspective. Students needing support can collaborate in small groups guided by the teacher. Sentence starters can be provided to help organize their writing, and they have access to all the pre-writing done over the previous weeks, their punctuation checklists, and many lists of Tier 2 vocabulary around the classroom. The teacher can direct them to these sources so they know what they can use and where to find it. Lighthouse Ghost shares similar themes with Hello Lighthouse, allowing students to make connections between shared human experiences, such as resilience, change, and belonging. Both texts use sea imagery and symbolism to represent isolation. The contrast between Hello Lighthouse, with its tone of love and hope, and Lighthouse Ghost, with its sense of loss and letting go, helps students understand how tone and connotation shape meaning differently. Additionally, the informational Lighthouse text supports accuracy in students' own writing. It provides factual knowledge about lighthouse structures and the keeper's role, grounding imaginative responses in real-world understanding. This text connects to history, geography, and visual arts. Students explore how lighthouses guided navigation before modern technology and investigate their role in exploration and innovation. After researching, students design their own lighthouses, drawing inspiration from Sophie Blackall's illustrations. They use watercolour, pastels, or collage to depict ocean movement, light, and interior design, blending creativity with their factual learning of the design of lighthouses.